Hey, Moon Dancer. Happy full moon. I have this really beautiful spot in my living room where if I look out the window, I can see the full moon in the evening. So last night I saw the moon rise and it was absolutely stunning. Today is when it will be at her peak, and actually in just about an hour, she'll peak at her biggest and brightest, and it's the second super moon of three for the remainder of the year. And today on November 5th, 2025, we have this gorgeous, gorgeous full moon, this kind of symbol of alchemy, birth, earth, and a deep becoming. This is a moon of both earth and fire. What does that mean? According to Western astrology, this full moon is in the sign of Taurus, meaning the sun is in the sign of Scorpio. And so when a new moon happens, that is when the sun and the moon are in the same sign. A full moon happens when the moon and the sun are in opposing signs. They're opposite of each other in the sky or on the wheel or in the chart. And so this particular full moon, according to Western astrology, is in the sign of Taurus. And according to Vedic astrology, this full moon is in the sign of Bharani Nakshatra. Now, a nakshatra is a lunar mansion, and that is more important. Which mansion, lunar mansion, nakshatra is this moon in, full moon in? It's more important in Vedic astrology, the nakshatra, than it is the sign. The element of this full moon is earth, and the ruler is Venus, which Venus rules, or rather is at home in the sign of Taurus. And Venus is the ruling planet of the nakshatra Bharani. And so we have this really kind of beautiful dance of Earth and Venus. And the themes here for this full moon, the next couple of days, is embodiment, rebirth, a sensual awakening, and release and renewal. This full moon really becomes this beacon of stillness amidst Scorpio's deep waters. Scorpio is a sign of water. And so this full moon is really this kind of symbol of stillness amongst Scorpio's depth. This moon is exalted in Taurus, which means it's her favorite home. It's where the moon feels the safest, the most fertile, and the most strong. Here, the moon's light really drapes itself over our entire body and really the entire earth, illuminating this sacred, simple quality of life, the warmth of skin, the taste of honey, the rustle of the wind through the trees. This light of the full moon really illuminates the sacred and the simple. Yet this is not softness alone. The sun in Scorpio stands opposite as a reminder that every bloom is fed by decay. And through the lens of Vedic astrology, this moon falls in the Bharani Nakshatra, which is considered to be the womb of creation itself. This lunar mansion is ruled by Venus, and it's governed by the god Yama, the deity of death, of transformation, and of Dharma. This cosmic marriage of Venus and Yama, Taurus and Bharani is this meeting of Earth's tenderness and life's impermanence, a time when beauty and surrender hold hands. This full moon really whispers, do not fear what must end, for endings are simply beginnings, wearing darker clothes. Do not fear what must end. I think that's one of our hardest attachments that we have, is gripping and holding on to things that are no longer in function any longer. And maybe they did before, and that's really why we grip, or maybe it was a sense of safety at one time, and that's why we grip. And that's our biggest lesson as humans, is to loosen the grip and to not fear what must end, because all things come to an end at some point. And it's a reminder, this full moon, that endings are simply beginnings. And Taurus is the body as holy ground. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. Venus is the goddess of love, of beauty, and the sensual arts. But her domain is not the fleeting glamour of pleasure. It is the devotion to presence, the art of being fully here, fully alive, fully embodied and grounded and grateful for the temple of form. When the moon shines full in Taurus, she really illuminates the sanctity of the body, how the spirit speaks through sensation. She illuminates the power of simplicity, the healing found in slowness and ritual. I was just talking to my teacher trainers about this. We studied yin yesterday, and the healing that can be found in the very, very simple yet profound act of slowing down and integrating ritual into every single thing that you do. That's the Venetian way, is to kind of weave divinity, pleasure, sensuality into every single thing that you do. This full moon illuminates the wisdom of nature, that abundance is not accumulation, but rather balance. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, meaning this sign is patient, persistent, and enduring. It teaches that manifestation is a form of worship, that tending to our gardens, our homes, our breath is how we pray to the divine made tangible. Yeah, under this moon, Taurus is not only about comfort, it's about the courage to stand firm in your worth. I'll say that again. It's about the courage to stand firm in your worth. You can start to ask yourself, where am I undervaluing my gifts? Do I rest enough to receive the blessings I've built? What does safety mean to me? And can I create it from within? And these are questions that you should really take time to contemplate at any time, but very specifically under this powerful full moon. Where am I undervaluing my gifts? Do I rest enough to receive the blessings I've built? Meaning, do you slow down enough to see how far you've come? We're always looking ahead, we're always pushing ahead, and we're never stopping to see how far we've come. And that's something I'm incredibly guilty of, and you might be too. And what does safety mean to you? And how can you create it from within? This is very like root chakra earthy, grounding questions that are imperative in your kind of evolution on this planet. And when you avoid these questions, we're avoiding the depth of Scorpio. And so this full moon in Taurus is grounding you so you're able to go to those depths and start to really unravel yourself from the inside out in this kind of grounded, fluid space. This moon is a call to return to your senses. It's a call to remember that pleasure is not indulgence, but intelligence. It's a reminder to eat slowly, to breathe deeply, to listen to your heartbeat as an oracle. The Bharani Nakshatra is really this sacred passage. According to Vedic astrology, this moon moves through this lunar mansion whose symbol is the yoni, the womb, the vessel of life and death. The second lunar mansion is really a place of creation's paradox. To bring forth life, one must know destruction. To hold beauty, one must face shadow. Now, this lunar mansion, as we mentioned, is ruled by Venus. This star pulses with sensual power, fertility, and creativity. But its deity, its god, Yama, reminds us that every creation requires sacrifice. Bharani's energy is about bearing, carrying the weight of transformation, navigating the threshold between what was and what will be. In Bharani, the soul remembers the birth is not gentle. And those that have birthed a baby, you know that birth is not gentle. It is called labor for a reason. But birth is really the sound of the universe rearranging itself. And that's what this full moon is doing. It's rearranging the universe for you. Emotionally, this nakshatra can feel a little intense. I've definitely been feeling it. Maybe creating more passion, more magnetism, more bravery, but it's also demanding honesty. It reveals where you must shed layers of your identity, where life is asking you to release control and trust the process of rebirth. That releasing of control, of attachment, identity is allowing them to shed and fall away. These are all incredibly hard for us as humans. And so this full moon is really illuminating this beautiful light and revealing where we need to release and shed and really lean into and trust this process of rebirthing. I've been in the process of rebirthing for a few months now, leaving my past studio and starting my own. And it's been such a wild ride. It's been such a roller coaster. It's been filled with so many highs and a lot of lows and everything in between. And that's probably the hardest part for me is trusting the process of rebirthing and knowing that the universe is guiding me exactly where I need to go. I have, this tendency to hold and grip onto control and that really is probably the worst thing that you could do in these instances. So this full moon is really shining this kind of fog light down on my life in particular, and maybe yours too. Just take a deep exhale and trust. and know that you're on the path that you need to be. And if you're not on that path, there are rituals and practices that you can do to bring you back to the pathway, back to your truth. The key to working with this lunar mansion's power is acceptance. You cannot rush birth, although, we try. You cannot rush birth. My first baby, I was in labor for like 37 hours. And if I could have sped that process up, I absolutely would have, but I didn't. I was fully unmedicated, and we just let her take her time to get here. And it's this really large lesson in surrendering to the process and surrendering to acceptance of this is reality right now. You cannot cling to what has outgrown you. You must breathe through the contractions of transformation, knowing that on the other life, or rather on the other side, is new life. And it's just waiting to emerge. But it cannot emerge if you're still clinging on to the things that you've outgrown. This kind of Taurus Bharani alchemy is really beauty in becoming. This full moon weaves a spell of paradox, earth and fire, comfort and catharsis, holding and surrender. Taurus grounds you in the body. Bharani expands you through the soul. And together they teach that the most sacred work is found in the flesh of life itself. This lunation may stir heightened sensuality and creative drive, a desire to simplify, to cleanse, and to beautify yourself, your environment. It's an emotional release around self-worth, attachment, and control. And you might experience sudden clarity about what truly nourishes you and what does not. And we do more of what nourishes you, and we do less of what depletes you. That is the way of Ayurveda. What is strengthening me, we do more. What is weakening me, we do less. And this is the alchemy, really, of embodiment, to stand on earth's soil while channeling the heavens through your heart, to really be a bridge between the seen and the unseen. You are the altar, and you are the offering. Let your life become the ritual. Make every single thing in your life sacred, sensual, and divine. That's Tantra. Sacred rituals and practices to really embody this full moon. There's this beautiful ritual called the Earth Communion, and it's super simple. You just have to make time and space for it. You'll find a place in nature, your backyard, your garden, a patch of soil near a house plant, and bring a small offering, a flower, a coin, a grain, or a breath. And place your hand on the earth and say, Mother, I give back what I've taken. May what I release become nourishment for all of life. Breathe deeply. Feel gravity as grace. And let your body soften into belonging. You can light a candle of renewal. Lighting a candle and meditating on the flame as both destroyer and creator. Write down what you're ready to release, the beliefs, the habits, the fears, and fold the paper and safely burn it in the candle's light or bury it in the soil. And whisper to yourself, I surrender the old form so the new may take root. Let the act be simple but sacred. Transformation is always elemental. There always has to be fire to help transform. And so, gazing at a candle flame is one of the most beautiful practices of pratyahara, of withdrawing from your senses and focusing on one thing, is really powerful and incredibly transformational. And it's super simple. Everyone's got a candle. And if you don't, you can go get one for relatively inexpensive. And you can light it and have this really beautiful moment with yourself under this full moon. This ritual practice of your body as a temple. You can anoint yourself with, Ayurveda would say, warm oil or just lotion, really softly, really slowly, and with a lot of reverence. This beautiful anointing, this abhyanga massage, and using touch as a space of gratitude. And as you touch each part of your body, you can say words of gratitude like, thank you, legs, for carrying me. Thank you, heart, for feeling so deeply. And really let yourself move slowly. Make it really sensual, not performative. This is really the Taurus magic, the holiness of touch, the divinity of embodiment. And that can be a really challenging practice for several of us out there. Touching our bodies ourselves can be really intimate. It can stir up a lot of maybe trauma. And so take it slow. Let it be really sensual. Let it feel really good. And let it really be this practice of coming home to the magnificence of yourself. Under this full moon is a really beautiful time to journal and reflect, letting your intuition rather than your ego reflect and journal. And you can ask yourself, what parts of me are asking for nourishment? What am I afraid to release? And what freedom lies beyond the fear? How do I define abundance? And is it aligned with my soul? What seeds am I ready to plant for this next lunar cycle? And when you're finished reflecting, you can like actually write it down in a journal. You could voice it in a voice memo. You could just talk out loud at your steering wheel. You could sit in front of your candle as you're kind of caressing, anointing your body and contemplate these questions. You could be sitting outside. But when you're finished, let your hand rest on your heart and say to yourself, I am ready to live. I'm ready to live. There's a really beautiful moon breath meditation that you can do, and you'll just find a comfortable seat and inhale through the nose. Really imagine this beautiful silver lunar light filling your body. And as you exhale through the mouth, release tension, fear, or doubt. The inhale is through the nose, pulling in this beautiful silver light and seeing it fill your whole body. And the exhale is through your mouth, releasing any tension, fear, doubt. You'll repeat this 9-ish times, or you can do it however long you'd like. And really visualize your breath as moonlight, your breath washing through your cells, cleansing every shadow and awakening every seed of beauty within you. sacred symbols, herbs, and crystals to use under this full moon. Crystals for self love, rose quartz. For Venus energy, emerald. For grounding, black tourmaline. And for creative fire, carnelian. Herbs that are really beautiful to work with at this time is rose, chamomile, tulsi, cinnamon, and vetiver. Colors to wear and have around you are earth tones, greens, coppers, browns, ivories, rose color. And you can even go gift yourself these beautiful roses from the store if that's calling and place them on your altar. The elemental focus here is touch and taste. Eat really grounding, nourishing foods. Think roasted roots, honey, warm milk, dates, just really warm, really grounding, really nourishing. And if you already have an altar, you can place these symbols on your altar. If you don't have an altar, you can create one. My altar is on my bookshelf next to my bed. You might have a place in front of your fireplace or maybe a special room. You can light a candle and you can really honor what's ripening in your soul. Your altar can be really small, it can be really elaborate. Maybe it's just a makeshift altar for this next, 48, 72-ish hours. And you can break it down and move it. That's the beauty about ritual, is that it's yours and you can do it in any way that feels resonant to you in this moment. What is this full moon teaching us? This full moon really offers us three sacred lessons. Embodiment is enlightenment. The divine is not distant. It is the hum in your breath. It's the beat in your pulse. It's the path to transcendence through presence. This idea that divinity is in every single thing that you do. Finding divine and sensuality and creativity and pleasure in all of the good and all of the bad and all of life in between. This full moon offers the sacred lesson that release is renewal. Bharani's Yama reminds us that every ending is actually fertile ground. The compost of your past becomes the soil of your becoming. And this full moon offers the sacred lesson of worthiness being your birthright. You do not in any way need to earn abundance. Rather, you align with it. You become it when you honor what you already are. When you remember your worth, the universe mirrors it back through everything you touch. The prayer of this full moon. Under this moon's earth and fire, may you root deeply and rise freely. May your body become your prayer, your breath, your offering, your presence, your altar. May you walk through endings with grace and into beginnings with wonder. You are the seed. You are the soil. You are the sacred becoming. Enjoy, celebrate, ground in and allow this full moon to illuminate what it is that you can let go of so you can rebirth and shine just as bright as the full moon in the sky.